All right, man, peace. You know, brothers, oftentimes people have a hard time grasping what a genius is or what a brilliant mind is. A brilliant mind or a genius is somebody who thinks things and says things way before everybody else understands the relevance of what they're saying, the truth of what they're saying, the brilliance of the concept that they're bringing forth. It's very difficult for most people to grasp until it's way down the line and it becomes obvious for everyone. And that's the main reason why so many people have issues with Floyd Mayweather and his career choices. Because he does things that people cannot grasp because they're so accustomed to what has occurred before. So that is why I call Floyd Mayweather a trailblazer. Why am I saying all this? Because Mr. Conor McGregor, we all know who he is. Probably the most high-profile UFC combat sport athlete. He himself has had a very meteoric rise to prominence over the last 5 or 6 years, culminating in an inter-sport combat bout between himself and Floyd Mayweather back in 2017. Many people lambasted it when it first occurred, until it made so much money that it made combat sport athletes from both sports have to reconsider their mindset. There was a point where Oscar De La Hoya, Canelo Alvarez, Manny Pacquiao, Andre Ward all started to float ideas of trying to fight against a UFC fighter. Roy Jones as well. Now, Floyd was not the first person to do what he did, because James Toney also did it. But Floyd Mayweather was the first person to do it as big as he did it, because Floyd Mayweather, he's an entertainment mastermind. He's a showman. And it's very difficult for people to put their finger on exactly why he's able to be so successful in what he does. I liken Floyd Mayweather's career choices to a Robert De Niro. When Robert De Niro first came into prominence in the late 60s into the 70s, even into the 80s, he was known for playing these brooding, complex characters, like in The Deer Hunter or Godfather 2 or what have you, Mean Streets. And as his career developed, and he pretty much had already cemented his reputation as being a magnificent actor, he started to go more and more into lighthearted comedies, to the point where people said, why is Robert De Niro doing a movie like this? Floyd Mayweather's in the same space right now. He's already proven everything that he wanted to prove as a fighter, as a boxer. And his career as a real fighter officially ended when he defeated Manny Pacquiao. Of course, we know that that was not the last real boxing match of his career. He squared off against Andre Berto. But we all knew that Andre Berto was not on his level. I mean, for the most part, there were no real fighters on his level when he left the sport. There were some young guys coming up, but they did not deserve a fight with Floyd as his last fight. I mean, it is what it is. Certain people are going to disagree with that. They're going to say he should have fought Keith Thurman, he should have fought Sean Porter, whatever. It is what it is. Floyd has given us all the big fights that we could have asked for all throughout the prime of his career. Many people, once again, will dispute that. They'll say, well, he didn't fight Winky Wright or he didn't fight Paul Williams. That's another video for another day. The point being is this. He's so smart that he has these other combat sport athletes trying to mimic him. Now, Floyd recently fought a young Japanese kickboxer by the name of Tenshin Nasukawa. And we know that it was a farce. Floyd basically came out and beat the man so bad that people thought it was a fix. It wasn't a fix. It's just when you put a boxer on the ethereal level of a Floyd Mayweather in the ring with a novice like a Tenshin Nasukawa, that's how it's going to look. Well, Conor McGregor is trying to mimic. He's trying to jump on the bandwagon of what Floyd Mayweather just accomplished. And now he's trying to challenge Tenshin Nasukawa to a kickboxing match. And how they report this story is going to show the difference between how Floyd Mayweather is perceived on a worldwide scale and how Conor McGregor is perceived. So, of course, we're going to talk about it. I'm going to chime in.
Welcome back to TV Sports. I'm here with Michael J. Babcock.
What up, Ev?
Conor McGregor, I guess, is officially in negotiations to fight Tenshin Nasukawa. And if that name sounds familiar, it's because he's the guy who lasted about 2 minutes with Floyd Mayweather in Japan on New Year's Eve until, Floyd...
2 minutes and 19 seconds, Evan. He got knocked down 3 times and his corner threw in the towel. Stop the fight.
Some people are saying the fight was fixed, that he took a dive. Other people are saying no way, Floyd beat him up. Either way, Floyd says that he made...
Now, anybody watching the execution of those blows could see that those are real punches that Floyd Mayweather is throwing. That's not bullshit right there. It's just that Tenshin never been hit that hard in his life. I promise you that.
$9 million to get in the ring and box this guy. The fight was supposed to go 3 rounds, but as you said, Babcock, Tenshin's corner threw in the towel after just 2 minutes.
Right, so great money for only 2 minutes of work.
People say, look at how Tenshin was falling backward. That's exaggerated. That's not exaggerated. Floyd Mayweather used to spar with boxers who were 175 pounds, who were light heavyweights, and would hold his own in sparring matches. This notion that Floyd Mayweather does not punch hard, I mean, you have to understand something. When they asked fighters how hard does Floyd Mayweather punch, Shane Mosley was on record as stating that Floyd Mayweather and Canelo Alvarez had the same punching power. So Floyd Mayweather could punch. If he couldn't punch, he would not have been able to defeat the champions that he was able to defeat. That's the bottom line to that. And when you put him in the ring with a novice like a Tenshin, it's going to look very similar to when Martin Lawrence fought Tommy Hearns on the show Martin back in the day. All right, but I'll probably be covering that aspect of their fight in another video.
Oh, that did look fake right there.
Yeah,
I don't know if it was or wasn't, but that one looked fake. There are shots that he took from Floyd that look real, and he got beat up pretty good. Oh, yeah, that shot looked real.
That was clearly real. The whole fight was real. It's just people just look for anything to get upset with Floyd about.
Floyd hit him, whether or not he would have actually went down and he fell to the ground like he got shot at him. It looks fake to me. But.
So Conor McGregor sees this, and he hears that Floyd Mayweather made $9 million for 2 minutes worth of work, and he goes to social media and he calls Tenshin out. He says, quote, "I wish to go to Tokyo to face Tenshin Nasukawa in a mixed martial arts exhibition bout before this summer. Please arrange this instant. Yours truly, the champ." And he tweeted at...
This guy still calling himself the champ, even though he got his ass mollywopped by Khabib, who's probably going to be the next fighter that we see Floyd Mayweather in the ring with. It will probably be Khabib.
That at UFC and Paradigm Sports Management, that's his agency.
Yeah.
This is also Conor's way of saying that he's really done with being a real combat sport athlete in the UFC. I'm sure that he's still going to fight there, but he's trying to make the transition over into what Floyd Mayweather's been doing. But it's going to be much tougher for him because his skill set is not as non-pareil as Floyd Mayweather's is.
So he wants the UFC and Paradigm to start negotiating because he wants to make an easy $9 million to fight this bum.
Now we see the host of this show is so upset with Tenshin's performance against Floyd Mayweather that now he's calling him a bum. I guarantee you this little dude right here would whoop both their asses, both the hosts of this show. This cat right here, Tenshin Nasukawa, will whoop both their asses in under 30 seconds. I promise you that. He's not a bum. He just got into the ring with a great fighter. But either way, we can see that it's very clear that Conor McGregor is trying to move away from the UFC, and it would not surprise me if we see him in the WWE in the next year or so. Wouldn't shock me at all. And also trying to move towards movies.
Well, Tenshin saw the tweet, and he wrote back and said, "Dear Mr. McGregor, thank you very much for remembering my name. I'm honored that you would even consider fighting me." He says, "But I have some rules. 58 kilograms, that is 128 pounds. So he wants the fight to take place at 128 pounds, which is insane because..."
Now notice, Tenshin Nasukawa and his team, they made no such demands of Floyd Mayweather. For them to make those type of demands towards Conor McGregor, what are they telling Conor McGregor? You're not Floyd Mayweather. You're nowhere near on his level. And you're not going to generate anywhere near the same money as Floyd Mayweather was able to generate.
Because Conor's last fight against Khabib was at 155.
Conor McGregor's last fight against Khabib was also an ass whooping. That's why he cannot make the same demands that Floyd Mayweather was able to make.
Conor once fought at 170 pounds.
Yeah, and he hasn't fought. The lightest he's fought at is 145. That happened in 2015.
Years ago.
So he wants to go down to like an insanely low weight to fight. And then on top of that, he wants kickboxing rules and says if you adhere to those things, 128 pounds. And
nothing wrong with that. Conor McGregor's a kickboxer. So there's nothing wrong with that aspect. But the weight stipulation, that's going to be way too much for Conor. But just the fact that he and his team would make that stipulation is them showing Conor that we don't view you anywhere near how we view Floyd Mayweather.
And then kickboxing rules that'll get us in the ring sometime in the near future. Word on the street is that Tenshin and the Ryzen Fighting League has sent over their demands formally to Conor McGregor's people. So I guess if they've made a formal offer to Conor McGregor after Conor McGregor said he wants this fight, technically that counts as negotiations,
yeah,
right?
I hate this. It's nonsense. First of all, Conor can never make 128 pounds. So
that's their way of telling Conor McGregor that you're not worth it. It's like when two fighters are allegedly negotiating and one team tells the other boxing team, this is how much money that we want. And they know that that demand cannot be met. That's their way of saying we don't want to fight you because you're not worth it, or it's not going to help us in any way. So they're making a stipulation towards McGregor that they know he cannot keep because he's not worth their time.
So Tenshin, give a demand that's reasonable. But for Conor McGregor, take a real fight, Conor, and win a real fight.
You're finally saying something intelligent, sir. Conor McGregor does not want to get back into that UFC ring and risk losing again. Right now, his confidence is very low. He's gotten his ass whooped by the best boxer in the world and by the best UFC fighter, arguably the best UFC fighter, along with John Jones. You know, Khabib his name is up there as well. But he got his ass whooped by Khabib as well. So right now, his confidence is very low.
Fight. I love him. I love his swag. But come on, I can't remember the last time Conor won.
I could see Conor McGregor looking so damn crazy in about 10 years. People are going to be like, is that Conor McGregor? Wow, what happened to him?
If Tenshin Nasukawa and his camp are looking at this and see that like Conor McGregor is interested, right? And there's real money, because I think a lot of people would watch Conor beat up this guy.
Oh yeah.
If they say we'll pay you a couple $1 million to get in the ring with Conor McGregor, and Conor McGregor you get a couple $1 million too, but Tenshin's got to come up to 145, 150, even though he knows he's going to get blown up. Do you take that beating?
If I'm Tenshin, yeah, I take it, because you make a lot of money and it further raises your profile.
How do you know that Tenshin will be the one to get his ass whooped? Might be Conor McGregor.
Yeah, that's true.
And I want to take a dive this time. Actually fight him, Tenshin. Maybe
Allegedly took a dive.
You should put on a pair of boxing gloves and get in the ring with Floyd Mayweather and see if you can last 15 seconds. I promise you that you can't. First time that man hits you in the rib cage, you're going to lay on the ground, you're going to curl up in a fetal position, and you're going to give birth to a newborn baby.
Took a dive.
Allegedly.
Even though he probably
took a dive.
Alright, so that's basically it on that. We'll see how things transpire from here for Mr. Floyd Mayweather, Mr. Conor McGregor, as well as Mr. Tenshin Nasukawa. I just wanted to make this video to just evoke how blatantly so many of these other athletes try to copy what Floyd Mayweather is doing and how much of a forward thinker he is. That is why to this day it's very, very difficult for the average person to grasp why he is where he is, how he's gotten to where he's gotten, because he sees things that other people just cannot see. But anyway, peace.